Can you become a better drummer solely by practicing on a practice pad? I imagine many of you are facing this question right now because you may be new to the drums and you may not actually have a kit yet. Or you have a kit, but you're constrained to quiet practice for most of the time. Regardless of your circumstances, practicing on a pad can be beneficial to you as a drummer for several reasons. Today we're going to explore these reasons and we're going to learn some practical exercises and techniques to practice on a pad. We'll also be taking a look at a cool, versatile new practice pad that is now on the market that I'd like to show you guys. And we will hopefully answer the question of can you get better at the drums just by practicing on a practice pad. Hey everybody, welcome to The Non-Glamorous Drummer, the channel all about teaching you the practical drumming skills that will actually help you to become a better drummer. If you're new to the channel, I hope you'll subscribe. Hey, big thanks to the folks over at Movement Drum Co. for making this video possible. They were cool enough to send me their new 4-in-1 practice pad to show you guys today. I've really enjoyed using this pad in my practicing, so I'm excited to demo it and tell you all about its features. This is a solid pad. A pretty decent size. It's just under 12 inches. The total diameter of the pad is actually 11 3/4 inches. The diameter of the actual playing surface is about 10.5 inches. It's a solid pad, but at the same time, I can fit it into my backpack, so it's small enough to be portable, large enough to put it on a drum and it's not going to move. So it's called the 4-in-1 pad for a reason. It actually has 4 different playing surfaces, which is really unique. Of course, the pad's double-sided, but the inserts allow you to increase the number of playing surfaces on the pad. We'll take a look at those in a second. The 2 default surfaces on the pad are both rubber. One is a really hard rubber surface surrounded by a rim. This one feels a lot like a marching snare. The other rubber surface is just a little bit softer, but it's still got a good amount of bounce to it. It's a little bit quieter than the harder surface with the rim. So that's 2 of the 4 practicing surfaces. Let's take a look at the inserts that they include also with this pad. There's the workout surface that's basically like a mouse pad material. It's like a rubbery foam kind of material that's about 1/4 inch thick, and you put that onto the pad on the side where the rim is, so it fits perfectly inside the rim. It doesn't go anywhere while you're playing. It stays in place completely. As the name states, this surface is intended for working out your wrists, working out your fingers, and just for chop building, building up the muscles as you're playing. Interestingly, the amount of rebound on the surface is actually very similar to that of a low-tuned snare or maybe a rack tom. Check out this comparison, you'll see what I mean. So I think that's really cool how similar the workout surface actually is to the surfaces on my drum set. We'll circle back to that in a minute because I think it's really important. I think you'll find this interesting. So that's 3 of the 4 surfaces. The 4th one is via this laminate insert, this clear plastic insert that you put on the pad. So we can take out the rubber that we put in there and put in this insert instead. It lays flat down there, and just like the rubber, it's not going to go anywhere. No matter how hard you're playing, it stays situated in there really well. So now you've increased the volume of the pad. There's now a lot more articulation because the tip of the stick is no longer hitting hard rubber, it's hitting plastic. So there's a lot more snap to it. By the way, the laminate insert is removed via this little tab in the corner that you can grab with a fingernail or if you've got any kind of sharp object. I think my only point of complaint with this pad was that sometimes it can be a little tricky to get it out. Either way, it's good to know that it stays in there. So if you've got the insert in there, it's not going anywhere while you're playing. So the reason that I'm really digging the 4-in-1 pad, and I think it's so practical and so useful for drummers of all types, is because the skills that I believe are most important to work on a pad are really convenient and really easy to work on this particular pad because it's so versatile. Really, what I think are the two most important things to work on a pad are chop development, building up the muscles, working up those doubles, getting the doubles strong, but then also rebound control. And so you can do all of that really well just flipping the pad over. So I mentioned a little earlier that workout surface feels like a low tune snare or a rack tom, and I said I'd circle back to that because this is a big deal. I think it's really cool. A lot of times we want to apply rudiments to the kit. We want to play paradiddles or doubles around the kit, but obviously toms don't have nearly as much rebound as a tightly tuned snare or as much as a rubber practice pad. And so we'll play our paradiddles and whatever lightning fast on a pad, and it's cool and it's great, but then we translate that to the kit and suddenly it's a sloppy mess because it doesn't work, because we've got a totally different feel on the pad than we do on the drum set. The great thing about this pad is that we can practice on the workout surface, and because that workout surface feels so much like a medium to low tuned snare or a rack tom, we can work up our chops and be able to play a loud fast paradiddle on the workout surface of the pad, translate that over to the kit, even to the toms, and it translates smoothly and it feels just like it. That's a big deal because that means that we can practice, as drummers, we can practice something on a pad that's going to translate in terms of feel over to the kit, which is really cool. Of course, a ride cymbal, or if we're playing on the top of the crashes or the tops of the hi-hats, those are going to feel a lot like the hard rubber surface of the pad. So we can have our doubles and our paradiddles up to speed on the hard surface. That'll translate great to the cymbals. We as drum set players play an instrument that consists of all these different surfaces that all feel different, from snare to rack tom to floor tom to ride to hi-hats. So why would we practice on a pad that only offers one feel? Let's practice on a pad where we can practice the feel of the floor tom and the feel of the ride cymbal or the hi-hats. So it's really well-rounded practice that really helps you out as a set player. So guys, go check out this pad for yourself. The link is at the top of the description. It'll take you straight to the Amazon page. You'll love this pad for a lot of reasons. The first reason is that, having a new pad kind of motivates you to practice anyways, because it's a cool looking pad. It's just a fun practice pad. It's really cool, and so it makes me want to practice on a pad, which is a great point. And number two, you'll love it if you're having to practice quietly a majority of your time and you need to work on practical stuff that translates over to the kit. I think that this pad is the best possible way to work out the technique required to play a drum set on a practice pad. Okay, so I mentioned earlier we'd wrap up with some practical exercises to practice on a pad that will translate well to the kit. And some of these you've already seen throughout the video. Really, there's nothing fancy that I'm doing most of the time in my pad practice. And honestly, when I sit down to play on a pad, a lot of times I'm just doing singles. I might do one hand first, one hand at a time, and then alternating. What I'll do a lot is work on crescendos and decrescendos with the metronome at whatever the given tempo is. But I want to work on solidifying that relationship between time and dynamics to make sure I can get louder without getting faster, get quieter without getting slower. That's a really important fundamental skill that of course translates to any kind of instrument, any kind of music at all. I also do a lot of finger stuff, wrist workouts. I'll do what I call the French grip exercise, where I'm working out the fingers to really help strengthen my doubles and even out my doubles more. And so I'll do that on the workout surface of the 4-in-1 pad, and I'll flip it over and then work on the rebound, so work on the articulation and work on those details and playing quietly well, playing loudly well. So just basic things like that, and that's honestly about it. I'm not doing a lot of rudiments. What we need to do as drummers is practice on our pads what we're actually going to use on the actual kit. So to answer our question in the title, yes, you absolutely can become a better drummer just by practicing on a practice pad. As a drummer, yeah, you need to play on a real kit as often as possible so you can work on the more creative musical side to drumming. But we can all use as much extra practice as possible on those core techniques that affect everything else that we play, and those are things that we can work on a pad. We can especially further our skills from working on the 4-in-1 pad because it's so versatile and encourages such well-rounded practice that translates to every aspect of playing the drums. Go click the link below at the top of the description to pick up one of these for yourself. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching, and big thanks to the folks at Movement Drum Co. for making this video possible. I've been really excited about showing this pad to you guys. Subscribers, thanks for being a part of the channel. Thanks for being fellow non-glamorous drummers. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I really hope my videos are helping you out and that you'll subscribe to the channel. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you next week.